Shall we keep Sandra or shall we bin Sandra? I think we should keep Sandra. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. And you might be quite surprised to see me back in the studio. Like, what's happening? What's this all about? Well, I thought it was time to say goodbye. Say goodbye to the studio that I've been working in for I don't know how many years. Cue the sad music. So emotional. Oh my god. I'm gonna cry. It's very emotional, I hope everyone cried. And this might be a bit premature because I'm not ready to move into the house yet. It's still quite the mess, I'm not gonna lie. But I'm still working on it and, you know, I'm gonna get there eventually. But I thought I would have a little bit of a break from, obviously, house stuff and house DIY. Give my arms and my back a rest. And yeah, we're gonna pack all this stuff up. All of the crafts I've made and collected and all of the stuff I've collected over the years. I don't know how many years I've actually been in this studio. Possibly 7, but I've also lived here longer, so I've probably lived here about 10. How old am I?
84.
I've probably lived here for about 13 years, I think. So it's been quite a chapter of my life. I've had some pretty decent highs, and I've also had some horrific lows. And I'm ready to move on to a new chapter of my life. I think it's going to be very exciting, very freeing, and it's gonna feel like me, you know, like my life now. And I couldn't be more thrilled about it. But don't fear, all this stuff that I'm about to take off and pack up and everything, it's coming with us. I'm not chucking it away, absolutely not. Don't think this was all a facade or anything, and as soon as I get my own place, I'm going to like minimal land.
Don't you swear at me, you little shit!
No. Imagine I would expect everyone to unsubscribe if I turned into a minimalist as soon as I got my own place. Maximalism all the way. It will continue. I have a feeling I'm not gonna have space for all this stuff in the new studio space. Although the new studio space is a decent size, I don't think it's quite as big as this. I think it's a little bit smaller. But I'm gonna squeeze as much as I can in. So let's spend all day packing all my shite up.
Yay!
Box acquired. I've got plenty of boxes actually. And I've affectionately named all this stuff studio shit, because it's my studio shit. That's where it belongs. It's very rare actually we get like a full kind of big view of the studio, but that's kind of it. Don't know whether you can. Window there, along there. Along there is where I end up editing and stuff, so yeah, interesting. Right, time to pack it all up then. Can't be bothered, I'm not gonna lie. Where do I even start? Oh, we will start with this gorgeous skull. Oh my god, cute. I feel like we're already packed. Only another million things to go. My studio stuff, I'm going to take real like care in it, and I'm probably just going to transport it myself. So I'm not worried about it breaking, because I'm a good driver.
It was her son.
A cute little piece of resin. Don't know when I made this. I'm assuming it was from a blind Pinterest challenge episode. That's where a lot of my crafts come from. We'll stick that in there, why not? This is the issue though. I'm gonna end up just literally showing everyone all the things I've made. So like cute little jigsaw puzzle plant pot. And then I've also got a little plant pot face that I made too. I enjoyed that actually. I really enjoyed making that. Aww. Ah, reminisce. Also, you won't be surprised to hear that I have never once taken all of this off and dusted and cleaned this.
You filthy little bitch.
Pineapple candle. I wonder if it still smells like pineapple. It smells of something. Doesn't smell too bad actually. Got a little ghosty candle thing. I swear I'm not going to show you everything. Little teddy bear thing. I do want to show you everything, but I'm not going to. Also, how nice are these? I didn't make these, but my friend at work, Kim, big shout out to Kim, crocheted a little Christmas goblin and then also a little dragon thing with rainbow wings. How cute are they? I do want to learn crochet at some point, but I've got like a million other things to do at the minute. It is on my list. And then also another one of my friends crocheted a little mini butt plug. Oh, cute. I think we'll put my merch mugs in there as well. Oh my god, full merch, you know, go grab yourself some merch if you want. These are beastie mugs, you can fit a lot of coffee or tea or whatever, or wine, obviously. And the thing is, I do plan on obviously rearranging the studio and changing things up. So it might not look exactly how it looks now, but I think it'll have like a similar vibe. I've got a few other plans and a few other ideas for it. I am wondering whether I actually really need to keep certain things, like do I need to keep this and do I need to keep this?
No! No! Look away!
I will just in case, but I don't feel like I need to. Oh my god, Platey. Cute. Oh no. My little doll's lost one of its horns. Where did the horn go? It'll be hiding somewhere. We will need to reclaim the horn and stick it back on. Did I ever give this one a name? I don't think I did I? I have a feeling a lot of things might break. I need to be cautious about what I actually put in what box. This reminds me of lockdown during COVID. I'm pretty sure I made this during COVID times. Some gorgeous tumblers for Luxinda. In fact, I think I've got another one. I do. I've got 3 tumblers. Oh my gosh, I'm spoiled. Also, I do have a little bit of sad news. Well, I say sad news, I'm assuming everyone will have heard the news. But at the time of recording, around about a week ago, the news broke that the fantastic and very talented Katherine O'Hara died.
Who sends pink carnations?
Who's obviously Moira Rose in Schitt's Creek, my favourite TV show ever. And I'm not gonna lie, I was absolutely heartbroken. I was devastated. Usually like a celebrity death and stuff, it doesn't really bother us because they're very kind of out of reach. They're very far away, they're very distant, not kind of on your level, not relatable and stuff. But the Katherine O'Hara one, it really, really hurt my heart. It really hurt my heart actually. You know when it's just something that's not even on your radar, it's not even on your mind, and it really catches you off by surprise. And like a lot of the reports and stuff said obviously that she's one of a kind and stuff. I couldn't agree more. She's completely one of a kind, and I think Canada and her family and her friends and everything should be very, very proud of her. You know, she was Canadian through and through and very proud of it. And yeah, just devastating, completely devastating. I was absolutely just proper gutted. And I haven't rewatched Schitt's Creek in a while actually. It's been a few months, which is like a record for me.
Ding! Dong! Ding! Dong.
But I think when I eventually do, which I will end up doing because I've watched it a million times, it's going to hit differently. I think it's going to be very emotional. It's going to be a hard watch. I think what's so special about her as well is the fact that she was so fantastic and is fantastic and was so talented, but she was so humble about it. She wasn't braggy, she wasn't a diva or anything like that. She felt very kind of grounded, even though, again, I didn't know her personally. I hate it when there's like awful people in the world who, you know, I'm not going to say deserve to die or anything, but like, could have had one of them instead, but you chose like a really decent one. Bit shit.
It's not fair.
Oh my god, I've nearly got a box filled already and I've only literally got rid of all that. That's not a lot of stuff, is it? I'm gonna have a lot of boxes. I'm gonna have a lot of stuff. Maybe I need to have a clear out. Do you think I should have a clear out? Nah. Like seriously, does this need to come with us? This little doll face ring? Obviously it does. This can go, because I guarantee it's going to end up leaking everywhere. It's like a pumpkin jar with some glow sticks in. We will get rid of that. Oh my god, I've got rid of something. Are you proud?
Well done.
Oh, and a photo of my babies. Little babies, Cain and Abel. Cain rest in peace. Oh. Oh, I'm not gonna cry, I'm not. There's another pumpkin one. What's even in that? I think that had a glow stick in it, but it's dissolved. Blobby bits in it. I don't know what that is. Oh, I can get rid of you as well. Seem to have went through a candle phase. I've got a lot of candles made, and I don't think I did a lot of candle making. Not recently, anyway. Oh my god, everyone, look what I found. This is really important. My headpiece for my Terry's Chocolate Orange outfit that didn't actually work because it wasn't practical, but I've kept it. It's devastating that that didn't work. That was supposed to be the of the outfit. You're coming with us though. Some more like artwork and stuff coming with us. An empty bottle of Ant's Brew. Can you remember when I made homemade wine? I've made like so many videos and done so many different things. It's quite alarming, isn't it? Okay, there's one box filled. Also at the time of recording, the first video of my home renovation series has come out and it's had like quite a positive response, so I'm glad everyone's enjoying it. People seem to be really into like home renovation content. I thought it might have been a bit boring for everyone, but I think people are really into it. Which obviously I'm happy about. It's a very weird thing to like try and figure out what videos do well and what videos don't do well and what people enjoy and what people don't enjoy. You could come up with the like shittest idea ever. Like honestly, seriously, you could come up with the shittest video idea ever and be like, no one's gonna watch this. You know, it is what it is. And it does really well. And then you can make a video that you're like, oh, people are gonna flock to this video. People are gonna love it and eat it up and it's gonna really, really engage with people and people don't give a shit. It is honestly, it is the most confusing thing ever. Which is why I always say, if you're making content and stuff and you're a content creator, just do what makes you happy. Do what you enjoy doing. If you start trying to please everyone and pleasing the algorithm and all this other stuff, you'll end up pleasing no one, including yourself. Everyone will be unhappy. So just do what makes you happy. There we go. One box done. Oh my god, it's really heavy. Oh, I do remember making this. This turned out way better than I thought it was going to. And my Easter cloche. This might have to be a fragile one then, if I'm putting my cloche in there. I remember this taking forever to make, and it being very successful. I put a lot of heart and soul into this little craft. I don't know, for some reason it's got a real kind of connection to it. It was very expensive to make too. Oh, some perfect Halloween decor. Oh my god, who's this handsome fella? Who's this? Is that Professor Z before he turned into a zombie? I can't really remember the story. Professor Z did turn into a zombie, didn't he? How dare you! You bitch! Yes, Kathy turned him into a zombie. It's all coming back to us now.
Baby, let me hear what's on your mind.
And this is another thing as well, if you're making like social media content and stuff. I remember making this in a blind Pinterest challenge episode, I think. And I usually like to photograph my crafts if I get time and I remember. And I'll post like proper pictures of them on Instagram and stuff. I remember this doing very well on Pinterest and I don't know why. A little Beetlejuice tentacle sandworm thing. It did fantastic on Pinterest. There's a few things actually on Pinterest. Like the algorithm just like picked it up and went with it. I have no idea how any of this works, by the way. Like the algorithms and stuff, so never come to me for any advice. You know, if a video does well or something does well, great. If it doesn't, then it doesn't, and I'll just move on. I wonder how many of these things are actually going to survive. I have a feeling at least 2 or 3 things will break. I hope not. I am trying my best to like package them as well as I can. And you know, not to blow smoke up my own ass or anything, but I make crafts pretty well, you know? I don't half-ass them at all.
Lie.
Should I really take this with us? Do I need to take this with us? I don't think I do. I don't think people even remember what this is. I struggle. I'm assuming it's something from the Wheel Picks My Crafts videos. But it's nothing substantial, is it? Why am I hanging on to it for? You know what? I'm going to get rid of that one. Don't love it. Okay, I think that's another box filled. Oh, I can't be asked anymore. I wish I hadn't started. I feel like it never ends. It literally never ends, does it? I think the worst thing about this is the fact that I know I have to eventually unbox all of this and reorganise it. However, at least I'm not covered in dust and dirt and paint and all sorts of shite. Been getting to the point now where I'm sick of looking like an absolute just shithole. Yesterday I was going from the house, I was busy working and stuff like that, and I was coming back to here, and I've had to reorganise my brain and my way of thinking because I need to like kill 2 birds with 1 stone because of time and stuff. And usually I'm a day shopper. I like going to the supermarket in the morning, get my bits and bobs and stuff. However, where the house is and where I am now, the supermarket I go to is in between the 2 of them. So I've been going and doing like night shops. So I've been doing like a Saturday night shop. By the way, if you ever go to the supermarket on a night time, you see some very strange people in there. It's either students, which fair enough, or it's just really weird, like Walking Dead zombie kind of strange people. And I've turned into one of them, by the way, just so you know. And anyway, I was walking around the supermarket last night, getting my bits and bobs in and stuff, half asleep, shattered, looking like shit. And I went to pay and everything was fine. And I saw some like weird people and stuff. I came back home and I was getting ready for bed. And I didn't realise, because obviously I hadn't looked in the mirror at all, I had sriracha sauce literally all over my mouth. There was just like blobs of like red sauce all over my face. Looked like a scruff. Really, really bad. Really embarrassing. I'm so happy I haven't bumped into anyone I know, because they would look at us and be like, what's happened to Ant? Turned into a right mess. Things must be going really bad for him. Can you believe that though? Sriracha sauce all down my face. Like a child. Like a literal child. I can't even fit food in my mouth and I dribble it down my face and then I just go out as if like it's fine. That's what I've turned into at the minute, and it's not something I'm happy about or proud of. It's just an observation I've made of what my life's turned into at the minute. Place your bets now. Will this survive the move? It's glass, and I have a feeling it won't, but I'll try. This is where I keep all my blind Pinterest challenge masks, by the way. They're on a banana holder, which is very dusty. I don't know what happened to the original one. I must have gotten rid of the old Pinterest one. You know, the one that had the peas stuck on it, like the Pinterest logo. Oh, I might need to start season 4 of that. Are we on to season 3 at the minute? Because we'll obviously be in a new studio and stuff. I don't know. I've got a lot to think about, don't I? You know, I should really have like a 5-year plan, and I don't. Some gorgeous artwork, yes. Right, this isn't coming with us a Pantone vase. I'm not a huge fan of Pantone anymore. They're a bit like shit, aren't they? I don't know what to do about mannequin, because mannequin's broken. I might just remove the light and keep him as just a mannequin. There's chunks off him and everything though. Actually, I think that's where something fell off. You won't be able to see that, but he's got a chunk out of him, out the back of him. And I think that's when I had an avalanche in the studio and loads of stuff fell off from a height and hit the mannequin. Maybe that's why it doesn't work anymore. I tell you what, I'm gonna cut the plug off and the light off, and we'll just keep him as a nice sculpture instead. And I might turn him back into a light at some point. Shall we keep Sandra or shall we bin Sandra? I think we should keep Sandra. You can go in there, Sandra. Right, another box packed. I've literally made a tiny, tiny dint. Look at that. I've got so much more left to pack. So much more left to pack. I should really get a move on, otherwise I'm going to be here all night, aren't I? I'm making quite the progress. Weirdly enough as well, as I've been doing this, and because I've been like making crafts and doing YouTube and stuff for so many years, each craft triggers like a weird memory and triggers like a weird time and stuff. I'm not necessarily feeling sad, I'm just feeling a bit nostalgic and sentimental and, I don't know, a bit crazy and exciting and lots of feelings, lots of emotions. But also I wanted to show you this. Remember, well, it'll have been a few weeks ago now when this video comes out, when I did the PVA sun catchers, and I said I kept that resin sun catcher from many, many years ago. I found it. There it is. See, if you want proof, that's a resin sun catcher. That's what I did last time. I just thought I needed to show you because I did in fact find it. There's obviously a lot of things that are quite fragile that I don't want to go into boxes. So like my little model kits and stuff, I'm trying to keep them separate. I've already stepped on my Lumi bricks thing and broke that a little bit, but I'll fix it later, it's fine. But we're getting there, just a little bit more to go. To be fair, it's not even that late. I've actually flown through this. I reckon it'll take me longer to put things back than what it is to take them down. So that'll be a fun little job for future Ant. Which box is this? This is the 7th box full of literally just craft stuff. Oh dear. And there we have it. Studio no more. It's a very surreal feeling, honestly. It's a really weird feeling. I feel like this kind of chapter of my life and stuff, it's been, I don't know, it's got more bad memories attached to it than good memories. It feels like more of a struggle. It feels like this part of my life has been a fight and a real massive struggle. Not necessarily to find myself or find anything, or I wasn't particularly looking for anything. It just felt really, really difficult. And I'm hoping the next chapter is just going to be, well, I know for a fact it's going to be just a lot different. Massively different. I'm just feeling very thoughtful and very ponderous. Also, by the way, it was very dusty behind there. Oh my god, it was so dusty. It was disgusting. But I didn't really find any surprises or anything. I did find a severed finger. But I think that just fell off a wreath at one point. And also them command strips are absolutely awful to get off. I've bled taking them off. They proper fire at you. They're awful. But anyway, I think that just about does it for today's video. Hopefully you have enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And yeah, just like looking down memory lane and stuff. If you want to know, I managed to pack 10 of those boxes. And then obviously I've got my shelves. I didn't dismantle my shelves because there's lights running around the back of them and stuff. So hopefully I can just transport them as they are. Obviously Gladys is over there, and to be fair, one thing I'm shocked at is how much art I've made. I've made so many like paintings and stuff. Loads of stuff I completely forgot about. But although it was sad to dismantle the studio, I am very excited to start setting up the brand new studio at some point eventually. Next week we'll be back at the house and we'll be doing some more bits and bobs. I'm gonna go around there tomorrow actually, and I think I might start getting colour on the walls. I know. Oh my god, oh my god. Yes, I shall see you next week for some more house DIY content. It hasn't stopped yet. It hasn't stopped. There's plenty more to come. Don't you worry. This was just an intermission. This was just a little chill out break and a bit of a break for Ant to catch up on stuff because he's very, very behind on literally every aspect of his life.
Help me! Help me!
Look how sad the studio looks behind us. Oh. The thing is, there's content creators out there and like YouTubers and stuff, and their backgrounds are plain.
Disgusting!
It's just so dull, isn't it? Just so dull and boring. No thank you. I like lights and colour and just stuff. Like stuff everywhere. I like to look like I'm part of the background. I'm just like blobbed in there, you know? I've also just like looked behind the camera and looked at like all the boxes I have of like craft supplies and stuff. I have a lot. I do have a space designated in the house for them, but do I think they'll all fit? Have no idea. I'm gonna have to do a lot of rejigging and figuring out when I actually get to the house. I might end up having to have a clear out.